This segment of our video is about locating the parts of a book. As we talked about earlier, books can be great resources for research, and today we're going to go over the parts of the book to help you find exactly what you need. And the title page usually is right after the opening cover of the book, and it will tell you the title and the author's name and sometimes the publisher. But on the back side of that page, you will also have all the detailed information about the book, including the copyright date, and you will probably need that later on to record in your bibliography. The next page that you will see is the table of contents. This is an important page to look for because it's got chapter headings. It also usually has those chapters numbered, and it tells you at least the beginning of the page's starts, and sometimes it will give you the entire length of the chapter and the page numbers. This can be helpful as you begin to look at information. You may not need the whole book, as we talked about earlier. You're referring to it, so you want to look at these chapter headings to find out exactly which part of the book would be best to look for the answer to your question. Another part of the book, before you even get started, is often called the preface. In this book, it's an adventure story, and it says about your adventure. It gives you directions of how the book is set up and why it was written and the purpose of it. Let me show you a couple of other books that have similar type settings. This is called the Prologue, and it has some background information that the author wants you to know before you start looking at the book. It's wise to look at this information and read it. Many times it's just one page because it will give you background often about why the author created the book, and perhaps some special information about the author and why they are an expert in the field. Sometimes you will simply find an introduction. Again, good information to at least scan over so that you have a better understanding of how the book is organized. Now let's go to the back of the book. Usually you'll find the glossary there. A glossary is simply a very shortened dictionary of words that are used in the book. It may be words that are special to the content, or it might be words that the author thinks you might not know, the reader might not know, and they wanted to write the definitions. So don't be hesitant to look at those words, and they can give you great insight into what they mean and perhaps even where they came from. Right next to it is the bibliography. This is a great page to look at also. It shows you that the author is credible and reliable because they have listed all of the sources that they used or he or she used in creating their reference book. But on the other hand, it also gives you a new list of resources that you might consider. Finally, the index. This is probably one of the best places that you need to consider spending some time in as you look for information for your project. The index is usually at the back of the book, and it has items that are listed, people, places, and things, and they're always listed in alphabetical order, and all of the page numbers that name or subject item is listed in the book. So as you have a question, look for the key idea and that you're trying to find the answer to, and go to the index first and find out where you might locate the information, and that will speed up your research process considerably. Don't forget to look for things like author's note and also appendix. The appendix is simply additional information listed in the back of the book, usually in the back, maybe pictures or charts. In this little book, it's not identified as an appendix, but there is a timeline, other paths to explore, and a whole list of things listed at the table of contents that are additional pieces of information that support the whole understanding of the topic. So again, before you really begin reading, look over the parts of the book and decide which part you need to use to help you find the best spot to begin.